Yeah.
Please stand
All right.
for the pledge.
You're already on it.
Ready? Begin. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Messed up the pledge of allegiance. Got the indivisible part.
All right. Roll call. Kobe Rowe absent. Ryan Brown here. Mr. Malarkey.
Here.
Mr. Robinson.
Here.
Miss Marchese.
Marchese?
Here. All right. Public comment. No action can be taken. Comments heard under this item will be limited to 3 minutes per person and may pertain to matters both on and off the county advisory board to manage wildlife agenda. The board will also hear public comment during individual action items with comment limited to 3 minutes per person. Comments are to be made to the board as a whole. Please sign it.
You need to sign the sheet.
Here, you want this?
Yeah, just
Oh,
get
that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Any public comment? None seen. Approval of the August 2020 or August 12th, 2025 minutes. Everybody read the minutes.
Yep. Member Malarkey, I move to approve the August 12th, 25 minutes.
You said yes?
Member Brown will second. I didn't.
You need to vote. All those in favor?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
All those in favor say aye.
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 All those
All-
opposed?
Say nay.
Then you gotta say the motion.
So motion is,
Motion passes 4-0
Motion passes 4-0
with
with member Rowe absent.
There you go.
All right. Board meeting assignment, wildlife, the commission meeting Friday, Saturday. I'm definitely good for Friday.
I'm out both days.
yeah, I'll be sheep scouting, I'm sorry.
I'll be Saturday, go on Zoom. I won't be down there, but I'll. be on Zoom.
I'll zoom in too. Okay. All right, I'll take care of Friday, you'll take care of Saturday. Good to go there. Committee member and liaison updates. I didn't get any correspondence for today's meeting. Did any of you guys?
Nope.
No.
Okay,
And we'll make an announcement to welcome Christopher Casey
oh yeah,
as new member
Okay.
and secretary to be voted on officially next meeting. Congratulations.
Congratulations, welcome.
Thank you.
all right, item number 7. Mr. Gregory Dicker, Miss Kimberly Dicker. The department has received 2 petitions requesting an amendment to Nevada Administrative Code NAC 503.1465 regarding archery disability permits. Both petitions proposing distinguishing permanent and temporary disabilities and recommended establishing expiration dates for the temporary permits. All right.
So I only saw one petition in the support material.
Agree.
So it says there was 2, but I only saw one. And the one that I saw was like
There's
handwritten.
2.
I only saw one.
I only saw one as well.
Yeah,
Oh, maybe
picture
that was
one,
the updated deal. I saw the handwritten one.
And then there's another one, it's in there. But both of them are similar about either.
Yeah, it was like hand.
But I don't understand what they want.
They want, I think the big thing is they don't want to go to a doctor once a year to get proven that they have a disability. And then they're asking for at 5 year, or they're asking for the 1 year to go to 5 years to prove that you have a disability. And if you obviously have like a limb cut off and can't pull back a bow,
Right.
they want that a lifetime.
What's it read right now?
So for the arm, it used to be, once you have a doctor's note that you have a disability with your shoulder, that you can't pull back a bow, then you're disabled and you'd use a crossbow forever. Now they've changed it to, you have to do it every year. The eye has always been every year, which is crazy. Like, my eye is legitimately, I can't look through open sights anymore, so they'll never change. So that should be forever also. But at least every 5 years, I actually think this is reasonable, is doing that every year. Why did they change that? Because it's not, because it never went through us, it never went through the proper channels when they changed it.
That was way before my time.
I thought it had to do with I could be wrong, but when last year or 2 years ago when we went through the NAC on the disability thing, and we were trying to close the loophole between the time frame and the days and all that stuff, that's when this happened. It went to a year.
Well, I don't know, but I know at Hidden Valley Country Club, there's just a bunch of old guys who get their doctor buddies to write them a note that says they're disabled, and then they can drive their golf carts right up on top of the green. And so, I mean, it's rife for abuse. So, I mean, whatever, I'm not saying this guy's wrong, but I think that like, if you truly do have a disability, then I can see the 5 years being accurate. But if it's just a deal where you have to, like, get a doctor's note once that you're disabled, like, what's the definition of disabled? Where's that defined? Like, provide that to me in your deal, and then I'll be a little bit more interested in what the
sure.
result is.
I'm sure it's.
Because if you're just saying my shoulder hurts and I can't draw back a bow, therefore I'm disabled, I don't necessarily agree with that. And I've seen it abused, like I said, I mean, a golf course is a weird situation, but I've seen it abused in that situation as well.
100. That's where I'm at with it. I have a brother in Arizona who has a disabled tag in Arizona, and he shouldn't be on the disabled list. He just does it because he can. So it should be. I'm fine with the way it's written now. Like, go get a doctor's note every year. Unfortunately for you, you have to go get your eyes checked every year. But I think it.
Well, like I said, my doctor was writing one, so I don't need that. I mean, it's not stopping anything.
Correct.
If your doctor buddy's gonna do that, they're gonna do it.
They're gonna do it. But for the people, I mean, he even says it basically here. Oh, it's a pain. I have to go to the doctor every year. I mean,
But the interesting thing is I feel like you should be going to the doctor. I mean, you're in the medical field.
I have to go to
Should
the
be going to
doctor
the
every
doctor.
year for review. That's what he says. He should be going to the doctor every year for review anyways if he's disabled. So what's the
So-
big deal of getting a note?
My thought on it, they should maybe change it to, on the form, 'cause I don't know if you've ever read the form,
I never have.
there could be a place the doctor can fill in, is this a permanent disability? Or did a guy fall and hurt his shoulder, he can't do it this next year? You know, his shoulders, but he'll be fine next year, or is this permanently screwed up where you have to use a crossbow?
Yeah.
I think
mean-
that could be a way around it instead of doing it, that seems like a more reasonable way. Like me to have my eye checked every year for no reason, this can't change. I can never use an open sight weapon again.
What if you're using a left eye?
I could. But boy, have you tried that? It's so, that muscle memory is brutal. And one thing I wanted to mention, so was it last year or the year before, the department, law enforcement put a thing in the book saying, if you use a crossbow, you can't have a sight on it. That's not the law. For sure it's not. And so they took that out now. But if somebody calls the department still and asks if it's okay to have a scope on your crossbow with a disability, they're being told you cannot use that. And that's not true. Are you saying that you can't have a scope on a crossbow?
No.
Yeah, you can. Maybe look at that regulation and tell me, if I've read it 1,000 times and that's not what it says.
Do you want me to read it?
What's it say?
It says the department may issue an archery disability permit to a person with a disability to hunt during a hunt that is restricted to the use of archery using a crossbow or a bow that uses a mechanical device that is capable of anchoring a nocked arrow at full draw or partial full draw and complies with the requirements of subsection 2 of NAC 503.144. A person using an archery disability permit shall present the permit upon the request of law enforcement officer. An application for an archery disability permit must be submitted to the department on a form by the department, include a certificate issued by a licensed physician certifying that the applicant has a disability, and include any other information required by the department to issue the permit. An archery disability permit issued pursuant to this section expires 1 year after the date the permit is issued. So I could see
But there's
this is where it
there's
could
an
get
area-
gray. Like,
there's-
what if you get it for an antelope tag and it expires August 22nd, and then you have a sheep tag November 20th the next year, so you're gonna have it will expire before that. I can see where that would get gray. But it says a disability means a disability which prohibits a person from manually drawing and holding at full draw. This doesn't say anything about the sights in this law.
There's two different things. There's two different one's for your shoulder where you can't draw, and one's for your eyes. In the eyes, you have to do it every year.
All points
They've
drawn.
had to do that forever.
This is trigger release aid.
Well, I
But
don't
then
know.
there's
I
for
think
sight, for the sight, there's 3 different sections in there that deal with a scope on the crossbow, and you can't buy a crossbow without a scope. Not possible. But that's not in the law, but the department is still telling people that. And it was in the rule book, I think it was 2 years ago, and I talked to,
I want to say it was in there last year.
was it last year?
I think so.
And I went and raised a little hell about it, and they go, yeah, that shouldn't be there. But the department is still telling people you can't use one. 'Cause
Well-
that's why
There-
Steven's shoulder is gonna hurt if I put it in for an archery thing.
Sorry.
I think we're down in the weeds a little bit. What do we want to do on this? I mean, my recommendation would be to take it out to public comment, even though there isn't any, and then let's move down the road and bring it back to us.
Do we have any public comment?
I just wanna say,
Please sign it.
Mel Belding, Washoe County, I just wanna say that with the eye thing, I qualify also. But I see a doctor, eye doctor every year. As a matter of fact, for the past 2 months, I've been seeing him, about 6 times. So, I think it's easily to get, but I know where these people are coming from. Some of this stuff can be corrected, especially a shoulder. But eyes, yeah, some things can be corrected, but in a lot of cases it can't. So I see their point. I don't think it's a big deal because you're going to see the doctor anyway on your eyes. You should be anyway. So
So you're saying take some personal responsibility.
that's what I'm saying. Good way to put it.
I agree with that.
Any more public comment? Back to the cab.
All right, well, let's at least come to consensus, I think, on what we should do here. I mean, I don't know that anything, personally, I don't know that anything needs to be changed, but if there's dissent among that, I'll yield a little bit.
I mean, the way they change it doesn't stop the fraud that goes on.
Exactly.
Every governor tag that has a deer tag is using a crossbow. And they'll get the letter every year or every 5 years, whatever, doesn't matter. So it's not stopping anything. Just annoying for the people that actually are doing it legitimately.
I think it would stop it for the normal guy who wants to cheat. Governor's tag's a whole different deal. You're never going to stop any of that cheating, no matter how you cut it. It's going to stop the normal guy, though.
I mean, I hung up with my optometrist in the parking lot here when I got here, it'll be easy for me to say, hey, fill that out again.
Yeah, but you
It's-
have you're a different animal.
But
I'd
I'm
have to
okay
go to a
leaving it as it is.
doctor. I'd have to try to like bribe them and be like, "Hey, you want to give me like, I'll buy you beers after this for eye doctor issues."
I see where
And
these
the
people are
same
saying
thing-
this is not, they didn't need to change it, but I'm okay leaving it also,
Same.
as is.
I can see the point, like especially for someone that doesn't have a limb or legally blind. But
All right, well, I mean, I think it's probably fine as it is. If they wanna come down, I would probably defer this one to the commission. I don't know if we need to spend a lot of time on it. They're gonna make a ruling on it anyways.
Permanent disability is not mentioned.
Permanent,
That's what should be defined as
Yeah,
permanent
permanent.
disability.
That's why I said, the doctor, in the form, it should say, is it a temporary or permanent disability?
but the
That's what
law
I'm saying.
doesn't define
yeah,
it.
but I understand that, except that that's the thing that scares me the most. Because once you get that check mark, you're free and clear. Forever. Like permanent disability, I don't think is like my problem with this is that I don't believe that the definitions are outlined well enough to make any type of judgment on this. So it's not so much that I think these guys are wrong or right, but I don't think the definition is there correctly. So I would argue that they need to define what is a temporary and what is a permanent disability before you give anybody the option to flag a permanent disability, is my thought. And until that language is cleared up, I don't know how you go down the road on this deal. And I didn't think that this would be talking
mean-
about that this long. But,
No, it's just something I have to deal with, so it's kind of.
well, so make the
But I'm
motion.
okay leaving it, that's fine, doesn't affect me,
Well, then let's make a recommendation.
do it. Then, Member Robinson will recommend to the commission that the petition from Mr. Gregory Dicker, Mrs. Kimberly Dicker, Ms. Tracy Lee Pinter, and Mr. James Thomas Pinter be denied.
Member Malarkey will second.
So you have to do,
Just say all those in favor.
He's
Hold
writing
on.
it down. We're taking notes.
All those in favor say aye.
Alright,
Aye. All those in favor say nay. All right, motion passes 4-1 with member Rowe
4-0.
absent. 4-0. Member Rowe absent. All right, agenda item number 8, adaptive population objective. Addendum, informational item.
I don't think you gotta read them all, if you don't want to. You just read the title. We
All
can
right.
move on from there.
Elk Staff Specialty Culver McKee to talk about elk in Elko.
We got no action here, it's only
Yeah, no
informative.
action.
In my opinion, we got enough to talk about. I would say skip.
What do I need to do for that?
Check.
Anybody want to talk about this?
Nope.
No? All right, we're gonna move forward.
We can talk about it when it's actually an agenda item.
Yeah. Item number 9, presentation on regulatory modifications to link master guides for possible action and sub-guides accountability. Game warden Jake Kramer. The department will present potential modifications to existing.
You don't have to read it all.
That's what Kobe does.
I know, but Kobe doesn't have to read it all either.
Oh, okay.
We all know what it's about.
All right. Cap, any comments on linking
Uh,
sub guides to master guides?
Yeah, I mean, do you guys have any ability to talk about this at all? This
Les
is
Coons
super
for the record,
interesting.
I'm Game Warden Captain. So I don't have Jake's presentation, it is just a presentation, but I know that basically he's talked to the DAG a handful of times regarding this specifically, and all that this stemming from
recommendation from the commission to basically venture into this and start making master guides responsible for sub guides' actions regarding hunter trespass, destruction of property, so on and so forth. Just kind of, as discussed previously, like your employees you should be responsible for your guys' actions. That's kind of what the idea behind this is.
It's like most of the world is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Josh.
Easy enough.
Good presentation.
I wish I could give you more, but Jake wasn't in today.
I'm saying there's no possible action for this, so we don't even have to.
There is possible
No, there
action.
is possible
We
action.
recommend to do it? To do what?
I want to take public comment too.
Well, we will. We haven't got there yet. We're still in our comment period.
Just checking.
Man, it's your first meeting. It's your first meeting back, John. Chill out, dude.
John got 2 guys up there telling the guy what to do in the chair. Now we got a 3rd one.
Well, you're lucky I'm able to read, pal. I'm on a good day.
Listen, I can't wait to see this presentation. I'm 100% in favor for this. Obviously, I think we're going to deal with this at a later date. I don't know that it is possible action. I don't know what possible action we could take other than encouragement, but I'm all in.
100% agree. I think this needs to happen. I think it's too early to make any real action, but I'm interested to see what everybody has to say on this.
Take it out.
Same. Yeah.
Okay, we'll take it out to public comment. Any public comment?
I know, you should just sit right here. Why don't you sit there?
Mel Belding, member of the public. Yeah, I'm for it. A buddy of mine just went to Alaska. Had a cancellation hunt, cost him $42,000. He sent me a picture. I knew it was 5. I put back. I said 6. Didn't break the bridge of the nose. Okay. So he says, no, it's 8. In a text. I didn't say text, but anyway. A couple weeks later, I get this text, you were right. Just got a call from Alaska Fish and Game. Illegal ram. So another buddy of mine that comes from Idaho, this guy's California, he's in Alaska, he just killed a ram, an old bruised up ram, broomed off. But he was 8 years old. In Alaska, they gotta be 8 years old or break the bridge of the nose. So not if he's 3 then, if he breaks it, they're legal. So I asked him, are you back yet? He called me from a hotel in Alaska and said, what's going on? So I told him, and he says, it's funny, we're just having this discussion. In Alaska, it's the guide and the outfitter. And that's the way it should be. I mean, you spend that kind of money, and 2 guys, he had 2 guides. They're telling him to shoot it, and he shoots it, it's illegal? That's not good. And when, used to be 7 years, 144. When you seen a ram that was under 150, you didn't tell people pull the trigger. You wanted to be damn sure that ram was legal. So yeah, I'm for it. There should be some back to the boss, because in every other business we have it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know what we should do here. I don't think we should take any action on this and just let it go, is my opinion. We're gonna get this again, like all these informational things. I think we just let it ride,
No action.
because they're gonna come out and it's gonna end up on the agenda again. This one ain't going away. So, that's my opinion anyways.
I agree. I mean, I don't think it's gonna go away, and I don't think there's gonna be any action this meeting, so. But do we just wanna say action with encouragement to pursue? Something like that?
No, I think the may language allows us to dip on it, probably. I mean, we can,
Yeah,
if
make
you
a
want to,
motion.
you can make
You
a
do
motion.
whatever.
We don't need a motion. If we're not gonna take any action, we don't need a motion. We just move on.
Alright, no action.
I would say number 10, no action, and skip it.
Well, yeah, we don't even have action in there anyways, informational.
Yep, no action there.
Pronghorn translocation.
I have a question on this one. How many antelope pronghorn have we given to this tribe in Washington?
Johnny Bonnick, Nevada Department of Wildlife, for the record. We've done 2 different translocations. So in 2016, we gave them, I believe it's 75, and then another 75 in 2017, so 150 total.
I was on a tribal transplant in 2012. I believe we gave them then too.
I'm not sure on that one. That was probably a little before my time.
So I think,
But okay.
I think we
John
did.
wasn't even born yet.
Yeah, I talked to staff specialist Cody Schroeder and asked for numbers, and he gave me 2016, 2017, but nothing further than that.
And did he mention what the problem with those transplants were?
So he said that there was a little bit of issues in terms of capture myopathy. So we did lose some. It's a 12-hour drive up there to release them. They were run a little bit hard and hot by the capture crew. So I do think that we lost some on the initial, on both of those translocations due to capture-related issues.
And there were some issues once they were there, correct?
Correct. Within the first 2 weeks, they lost quite a few. 2016 especially, I think they had like a pretty tough snow year. And so kicking those pronghorn out into some of the snow conditions that they had was pretty rough. This one would be in November, so theoretically no snow to be super concerned about that early in November.
How about, I mean, they're gonna give, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, what are they giving?
They offered to give us turkeys back.
Sure.
It's a pretty small reservation, but they're pretty lush with turkeys. So they said they'd give us turkeys in return. And I mean, the
How
big
many
picture
turkeys?
is we have 36,000 pronghorn in the state of Nevada, and they're asking for 100. So I mean,
How
it
many
was
t-
also factored in when we did the doe hunts this year. We were assuming, kind of accounting for giving at least 100 away.
How many turkeys?
I have
I'm
no
big,
idea.
I'm big on the turkey thing. I would trade
You and
antelope
me
for
both.
turkeys.
I love turkeys, but I'm not sure what the turkey to pronghorn ratio is.
Well, in all reality, I'm fine with it overall. I mean, helping other people is fine. I mean, it's like the Utah thing, right? Like Utah did. I mean, their whole presentation last year to us to get the sheep and everything was coming off a really bad experience where all the sheep we gave them got killed. But they also didn't tell us at the time, or you guys didn't tell us, we were getting a pile of mountain goats,
in
right?
return, right?
Like it would make that conversation a lot shorter. I'm not a big turkey hunter, so I'll let the turkey hunter talk about turkeys, but like
Yeah, in looking at
should
how
be a
we
little
got
risk and reward.
looking at how we got to where we're at with like kind of recovering pronghorn statewide in the state of Nevada, we got several translocation efforts from Wyoming, Colorado, Utah. Like we're relying on other states and kind of moving pronghorn around, so it's kind of the same thing where, you share critters when you have an abundance of them, in hopes that when you're desperate down the road, you can get some in return.
Fair enough.
Have the factors that caused failure in the last 2 or 3 captures and releases, have those been
Yes.
addressed?
So
I'm okay with it, and only if, okay, we know what the problem is, we fixed it.
So there's a couple of things that were at play there. I think I know we will be using a different capture company who has a lot of experience capturing and handling pronghorn. So hopefully we'll be on the better end with the capture myopathy. The other part of that equation was there's a little disagreement in terms of the amount of sedatives used for translocating them on a 12-hour drive. We think that we're going to dial that back quite a bit so that they're on their feet and a little bit more aware as you're driving them 12 hours up to Washington. And then hopefully the snow issue isn't going to be a problem since it's early November as opposed to January and February. So I mean, there's always a chance, like we just caught sheep in Oregon and had some capture myopathy issues, so there's always a possibility. I'm not going to say it's going to be 0, but we're hoping for a better outcome, just like with the ones that we're catching to potentially move into 012. We're going to be using a different capture company.
And we have enough excess pronghorn to move to help us out first?
Yes.
Yeah, like we're first.
Yeah. So how this kind of started was we had the internal conversation of which biologists would like pronghorn and which could benefit from them. Hunter Burkett initially thought that he was going to want the pronghorn that were supposed to go to the Colville tribe for central Nevada. And then looking at some of the drought conditions, he thought that the range was in too poor of condition and decided that he didn't want them. Same thing, Ed Partee had the opportunity to take pronghorn before we offered some to Colville. And he's not totally sold with some of his range conditions that he can support more. So that being said, we've all had, the struggling pronghorn populations within the state. The biologists have had the opportunity to request them, but we have plenty of pronghorn to share with the Colville tribe.
Where are they coming out of?
So for Colville, it will either be 15 or 6. And then for the Washoe ones, they'll come out of Area 4. But just in terms of pronghorn are a little bit fickle, so moving them long distances isn't super easy. So for moving some into the calicos potentially, it makes more sense to grab them out of 4 than 15 or 6.
For sure.
Man, it's good to have you back. That's been the best department
Missed you
in the
too,
house. Yeah. Thanks, Sean.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Any public comment?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna say, because he was listening to this.
Well building, Washoe County, public. Yeah, dead set against it, going to, I was on all of them. This is the first time I've ever heard that they did not want to capture antelope in snow. This is the very first time. As a matter of fact, we put off these in the past because there was no snow. So I don't know where that's coming from. Capture myopta, let's talk about it in a minute. I know of 3 antelope on all of these transplants. One had a broken leg out of the net. One was hit in the head with the weight, killed instantly. And the third one was transplanted into 18, and she came out of the trailer in bad shape, so she was euthanized. I question the 75 number wholeheartedly. We captured over 300 antelope in between Valmy and Dunphy Hills in those 2 locations in 1 year. I know some went to 18, some went to Railroad Valley. I question that. Another thing with this capture myopta, it wasn't a big thing 10 years ago. We didn't know about it. We didn't check into it. I mean, the first word that I heard, and I was pretty involved, was the state of Washington was pretty mad because those animals did not stay on the res. They dispersed. They left. And because of that, there was some bad blood. So now I'm going to get to the reason why it shouldn't be done. 011, 012, 013, 014, 015. They're abysmal numbers that we have. We don't have a third of the animals we had just 15 years ago. And we're going to give these animals away? These animals, every one of them, in my humble opinion, should be taken to Washoe County and Humboldt County, because those numbers are super bad too. Look at 014. People drive around for days and can't even find an antelope, guys. And we're going to give them to Washington? I think we've got to start thinking about ourselves once in a while too. I really do. I mean, it's sad to see what's happened to these units, and to see what the antelope did in 18 when they were transplanted from these transplants is nothing short of amazing. It is really something to see the antelope 25, 30 years ago, and I've been hitting it hard since 99, and to see what they have today. It is a tremendous, tremendous change. And those antelope can do the same thing. But I really need and I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna talk to some guys. I wanna find out why they're moving away from snow and going to a hotter month. Because that was so important back then. Thanks.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh, nailed it, Mel.
I'm not saying you're.
No, you're good. So some clarification I got from Schroeder. So for the ones that you were talking about in 2012, that was to the Yakima tribe, so a different
Oh,
tribe.
different tribe, okay.
And then, sorry, Johnny Vonek for the record. But then, as far as like some of the capture myopathy stuff and why we didn't really hear about it until recently, I think a lot of it has to do with it not being like they're dying in the trailer or they're limping when they come out of the trailer, but taking a full 2 weeks to run its course where they'll start experiencing kidney failure or stuff like that. So I think with how far we've come with GPS collars and all of that, you can then follow them, quite a bit longer compared to in the past. I don't think we were hanging nearly as many GPS collars. As far as why we don't put more into Humboldt or Washoe County, I definitely think we could put more than the 75. But I would urge you guys to be careful. Coming off pronghorn surveys where we've had some pretty poor fawn ratios, I think it's pretty indicative of what's going on with some of the range conditions up there. Last year we had great fawn ratios. This year we kind of had some poor fawn ratios. 012 to 014 was at 20 fawns per 100 does. So to me that says habitat-wise there's probably something going on, whether that's the lack of spring rain that we got or something like that. So I think that next year, like, we can have the conversation of adding more in there, but I'm worried about throwing too many at it all at once and having the bottom fall out is all. There's a reason that all of the other biologists said we don't want them right now with the range conditions, and I'm the only idiot who said, yeah, I'll take some pronghorn. So in moderation, I think is what I'm trying to say.
Can you address about all these animals migrating off the reservation, and that's why they don't?
That
I'm-
seems like it would be the Yakima.
I'm unfamiliar with
So
that,
that's the
but it
2012
could be,
capture.
yeah, and I can ask and see if they had collars on them or how
No.
they knew.
No.
Okay, so,
Have
yeah,
you
and
ever
then,
seen an antelope capture versus like a sheep capture?
right, so
if
there's,
you can participate, it's one of the coolest. You're hands on.
they're a lot more fickle, so we try and handle them, a little bit less in terms of like having a sheep on the table for 3 minutes or something like that would not be good with pronghorn. Oh crap, I already lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
No, you're
Yeah,
good.
I was
Oh, the snow thing. I'm not entirely sure why we're not catching them in snow this year. I'm not sure why we got away from that, to be totally honest. I think we had discussed two different methodologies, one being in Kyle's area, so area 4, we were going to use like a wing fence, corral them with the helicopter, kind of push them into a funnel, and then handle as few as possible, run the rest into a trailer, and then kind of put them on the road. I'm not sure if that's why we didn't want to do it in the winter. And then the other option that we discussed is just net gunning them, slinging them in, and then putting them all in the trailer. But for the net gunning, I would think that snow would definitely be advantageous. They're going to be running at a slower speed, and then also they're going to have a little bit more cushion when you're taking their feet out from under them when they're going 40. So. Any other questions?
No?
That's what John wants, then I'm not gonna.
No,
I trust your judgment. If we don't want that many animals at once, that's great, but,
yeah, I think there are plenty of pronghorn within the state, so I think like if I wanted to throw 500 in there, like we wouldn't bat an eye. We shoot so many does out of 15, 6, there's a lot of pronghorn to be had. I just want to wait until we have range conditions that support that and then go big, as opposed to any year where conditions aren't necessarily as hot to throw them into habitat, maybe set them up for failure. And we kind of talked about some of the disease issues in a year where you have a lot of midges on the landscape and there's potential for EHD to still be lingering. Maybe we wait till a better year and then throw a bunch in there. But Either way, I'm not gonna fight you on it. Problem.
3 years of normal precipitation, we don't get that very often in Nevada.
Actually, we do. That's normal. Okay. Thanks, Sean.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it in general. I mean, we have a bunch of antelope right now. Granted, I'd like to see them go to northern Washoe, be in a different unit or something. But if the range conditions aren't there, then why put them there? Just as long as the tribe is done predator control, done the things they need to be doing, then
I'm not sure if they've done predator control, to be totally honest with you.
They're a sovereign nation. You
Yeah.
can't tell them what to do.
No.
Yeah.
well, they usually do a pretty good job, I think. But I'm fine with it in general.
I'm going to make a move on this. Member Malarkey, I move to accept action item 11, pronghorn antelope translocation as written.
Member Robinson will second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Aye. Any opposed?
1.
All right, motion moves 3-1. I feel like I need to say something else.
With member.
With member Rowe absent.
Just nailing it.
All right. Item number 12. The big game release plan for 2026-2027 physical year for possible action.
I'd like John to come and talk about the units that we have, if you
Yeah.
could, please.
For sure.
The 2 antelope and the big one.
Yep. So John Ivanek for the record. So the main one that I can talk about is 012 because that's one that I just got off of survey. On survey this past week, in 012 to 014, we classified 438 pronghorn in there. This year, I'm spending less time on survey in certain units compared to like last year. So what I'm trying to do is kind of like a rotating inventory. So last year I spent, I want to say it was 9 hours on survey, or actually it was 8 hours on survey in 012 to 014. This year I only spent 4 hours in there. So quite a reduced survey effort, and instead I spent more time on the Sheldon, as well as 015 to try and get a handle on what's going on in there. But anyway, so 012 to 014 of the 438 pronghorn that were surveyed, the fawn ratio was 20 fawns per 100 adults. So once again, like as we discussed before, kind of indicating that things are rough up there. Several other units had low fawn ratios. 015 was 23 fawns per 100 does. And then, let's see, also 033 had 16 fawns per 100 does. So it's not unique to just northern Washoe County. I spoke with Hart Mountain, and they had single-digit fawn recruitment this year on the refuge up there. And then same thing for the adjacent county in Oregon, and then parts of Humboldt County also experienced low numbers. With that being said, we're hoping that putting some doe antelope in there will kind of help with the low fawn recruitment that we had this year. Last year, fawn recruitment was great in there, but then the 2 years prior to that, it was a little bit less than desired in 012 to 014. So the thinking being, we're missing some of those age cohorts within the population, so hopefully bringing more breeding age does into the population will kind of help us with some of those lower years of fawn recruitment. That being said, we don't want to go too far if the range conditions can't support dumping 300, 400, 1,000, whatever pronghorn in there. So initially we're going to kind of like step into it slowly by dropping around 75 or so in there. and then next year, if range conditions are better, then releasing more. Also of note, they did gather horses in there, I believe it was 2 years ago, so theoretically, it can sustain more miles on the landscape. We've also been building quite a few big game guzzlers in there. In 012, I think we've built a guzzler in there every year across the past 4 years. Most of them are primarily for sheep, but they all get pronghorn use on them. So theoretically providing some more water sources, pulling some of the horses out of there. And we did receive some late rain this summer and kind of into the fall. I just worry that it was a little too late and, just a little bit, like we saw a little bit of green up in terms of cheatgrass, but you're not going to save some of those brush species that need that water earlier in the year. I'll quit rambling unless you guys have any specific
Fall
questions.
just started yesterday, is all I was going to say.
Yeah.
Today's
Yeah.
first day of fall.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, late summer rains we received. And I mean, things are looking good water wise in terms of this last little bump that we got, but it was pretty rough before that.
How about the Californias?
Yeah, that's right.
You know,
Yeah.
3-1.
So for that, Ed has had a handful of mortalities, and it seemed like it was most of the rams. You guys probably remember last year we did a translocation where I gave him 3 rams out of 022.
That all died.
One of them died. Two of them died, and then one of them is in close proximity but doesn't spend enough time in and around the ewes. So this year we're going to be augmenting that population again, or we hope to at least. The source population for that will most likely be out of 068, as well as we're supposed to be getting. We have a meeting with ODF and W to see if we can get more of the Deschutes John Day River sheep, because they have, I think their last estimate was like 1,700, something like that, and they only issue about 50 U tags. So they're looking to get rid of sheep. The only problem is they're really prioritizing British Columbia because that's who gave them the sheep initially. So getting back to this whole sharing wildlife with other states and provinces, it's almost like they're holding out trying to save some of those sheep for British Columbia, but we're pretty sure that we'll be able to get anywhere from 20 to 50 sheep from them this year. But we're kind of still waiting on that meeting. They go back and forth quite a bit.
So how many of the, what we take over there? I know we took like 24, 25 originally. The 3 rams died. A couple ewes left. How many rams are still, or sheep total, not rams? Because we replaced the 3 rams, right?
Correct.
How many sheep are still?
Unfortunately, I don't have those numbers exact. I want to say we're sitting at around 20 sheep. Plus they had lambs. So those rams that we brought over, we dumped them in there in November. So it was just a little bit past, like when we wanted to get them in there. But Ed did a survey, and I believe he did have, I want to say it was around 20 lambs per 100 ewes, something like that. So either some of them weren't bred, or some of them were just bred a little bit later. But it seemed like not all of those ewes ended up having lambs.
The one ram had a good night.
He did. Yes. But it's pretty low density, and that's kind of by design. There's domestic sheep. They weren't supposed to be in that valley just yet, but they got turned out early, so there's domestic sheep in pretty close proximity. So same thing, Ed doesn't want to dump a ton of young rams in there and have them kind of go on a walkabout through the valley and have to start over. So he's trying to slowly step into growing that population as opposed to having disaster again with the domestics right in the bottom of the valley.
Cool.
What was the mortality on the rams from?
One of them was hit by a car, like right there. I think it was like probably somebody headed to the mine, but it had like a broken jaw to where it couldn't eat, and it was just kind of hanging out right by the mine. So Ed ended up putting one of those down. Are you talking the 3 that I gave him, or the initial 3?
3 that you gave him.
The 3 that I gave him, one was that one that was hit by the car. One's still alive, and then the other one, I believe, was a lion kill, and then we had wildlife services in there. So they removed a couple lions out of there.
And I have a question about the desert bighorn. So when we were discussing all this, a few months ago, 182 was a big no-no, correct? Why is it back on the table now?
I'm not entirely sure the answer to that, other than you had a very compelling argument, Steve. I think that they wanted to wait and do some more disease surveillance in there. I'm not entirely sure, what's come back. We'll get some hunter harvest results here out of that unit, and theoretically we'll be able to look at, how many of them come back positive, or if that disease is still going crazy. I don't believe Jason's going to survey that this year, so we won't have, a lamb ratio off of that, but we will be able to look at the sheep observation form that hunters fill out to kind of take a look at some of those lamb numbers and see if we have another year where lamb ratios are high, it would suggest that the MOV isn't active and having an effect in there right now. So I think it's kind of preemptively putting it on the plan. We're not saying we're going to do it, but putting it on there as an option.
Cool, thanks.
I'm good.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Okay. Cool.
Thanks, Sean.
Yeah, for sure.
Chunks.
Well, I would think if we want to do 182, we should do it the survey, shouldn't we? Sorry, I'm just.
Yeah. Jason might get a ground survey in there. I'm not entirely sure. But we're always, as we talk about nonstop in this room, flight time is incredibly limited, and this year it didn't end up on the schedule.
Okay. Any public comment?
No.
All right, bring it back. What do you got, Steve? I know you got something.
Nothing.
Nothing.
What do you got?
I like captures. I think it's a great thing. So especially for our state.
I'm on board with you there.
Okay, let's get it. Member Malarkey will move to approve state fiscal year 26-27 biennial big game release plan as written.
Member
Rob,
Brown,
go ahead.
Member Brown will second. All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0 with member Rowe absent. All right. Item number 13. Presentation on hunting and fishing for trapping trespass regulation.
We got the guy.
You got the guy.
Wes, come give us a breakdown. This is your opportunity to give your presentation before you have to give it.
You're not going to get the whole thing. Game Warden Captain Wes Coots for the record. So we were tasked with, from the commission, looking into 12 demerit points for trespass, initial first offense trespasses. So we delved into that pretty good. We are going to recommend we leave it at 9 because the fact that you have a first-year hunter who makes an accident and does some hunter trespass, revoking them for up to 3 years is a little excessive. That person with 9 demerits is still allowed to take the hunter safety course to reduce that down to 4 from 9. And anybody caught doing the same act within the next 5 years gets double the points anyways. So if a first-time hunter gets caught hunter trespass, they get 9. They can take hunter safety to drop that down to 5. They get caught doing it again, that's 18. He's automatically revoked anyways. The one thing that we are looking to change is the word may to shall in NAC 504671, referencing guides specifically. It will no longer be a we can revoke, it's we're going to revoke. So just that simple wordage allows us to do that. It's kind of it. We just delve more into the actual NRS for trespass, for hunter trespass. That was a big chunk of it. The other thing that we are contemplating, right, is destruction of private property during a hunting trespass, right? So you go over to somebody's property, somebody rips down a fence, travels through it, and then goes that way. What we are thinking of doing, because we have no way to do that, is we're trying to come up with a demerit system possibly for destruction of private property. So if you are proven hunter trespass, you get your 9, and then determined upon the amount of damage that you caused, possibly assessing more demerit points on top of that. That allows us a lot more leniency with the 9, because now we have something on top for willful damage of somebody's private property. So in discussion of that, we go into NRS's definition of real property, which does include fences. That's kind of it.
Yeah. So there's been a lot of stuff going on about corner crossing.
Mhm.
How's that gonna play into all
We
of
go
this?
straight into our NRS, which is NRS 207-200. Nevada's a fence out state. You don't want somebody on your private property unless it's a cultivated field. You need to fence it off. That's per NRS. We have no authority to change that unless legislation wants to get involved. Quarter crossing, if there's not a fence up, they can cross it. If there's a fence up and there's no signage, they can cross it. 207-200 is very black and white. It's either
But
you
is
had
it
it
a corner
properly.
crossing issue? If there's a fence and it's posted, can you still cross a corner?
I would say as long as you're going, like if it's true corner, yes, you're good all day. If it's properly marked on both sides of the
And I have a
fence.
question about properly marked property.
Sure.
What does that constitute? So does the landowner have to have the signs the certain amount in
Yeah,
order
oh, yeah.
every painted, or
Yep.
you can legally go on there and they can't?
No, you're free to. So the way it was built is you're out in the middle of nowhere and you come across a fence and there's no signage on it. You treat it like a BLM fence. You jump it. And so Nevada being a fence out state, that's the way that it's still perceived. So if you don't have a sign on every corner or a fence post painted every 12 or whatever it is, then it's on you, the property owner, to make that happen. So the public hunting parties they can treat it like a BLM fence if it's not.
Okay.
And that's our hunting regulation for 503-240 is directly correlated to 207-200. So it, besides the orange painted fences or fluorescent paint, you need a basically sign. You have to stand at a sign, look down the line, see another one. If the valley or the topography dips, you need a sign at the bottom. You have to stand at a sign and see a sign the entire length of the fence. So if you have a mountain in yours and you're on the bottom, you need a sign at the top and you need a sign at the bottom. You could have 20 signs in 30 feet if that's what the terrain calls for. It's on you, the property owner, to have that sign.
That's interesting. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah. Anything else? See, told you it was easy.
You got anything or you're-
I'll make sure to. You know what? I wasn't gonna watch, but now I'm gonna watch.
Please do.
You guys have anything or you want to go to public comment?
I'm good.
You got anything?
I don't know.
Public comment?
Mel Velding, Washoe County Public. They took a run at this when Brad Johnston was the chairman of the commission about trespassing. And you guys remember there was a trapper that was on a deal. Some dog got caught. And, it was a mess. But Brad said he had driven in from Yerington, and the way the law is written, for a landowner to actually make it legal for trespassing to get you, that, like he's saying, there's signs all over the place. You can enter private property, and if a sign is not visible to you where you enter that, you're completely safe per the law. So if somebody gets arrested on this, pinched or whatever, hopefully he's got a camera there. I entered on this spot and show me where this trespassing sign is. But I'm just a little cautious with this when they say property damage. that needs to be defined. Property damage. That really needs to be defined. We hunt in the winter, mostly. You know, we're driving around. Somebody's gonna say you damaged my road because I got ruts in it now. So bring a D6 dozer up here and fix it. I mean, this stuff has to be defined. We can't just say property damage. What is property damage? A lot of these guys think they own the deer in their field, they own the antelope in their field. That, you know, a lot of guys think that. They own the chucker, whatever the point is. I respect personal property rights 100%, but, you know, they've got to keep you out of there. This ain't Colorado. You don't have to know where you're at in Nevada. They tell you where you're at. Colorado, it doesn't have to be posted. You're on it, you're done. But that's not here. So that personal property thing's kind of got me a little, I'd be cautious about it, especially that personal property thing.
And again, I don't think there's any action taken on this.
I don't disagree.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
No.
Yeah, I think this is gonna go on.
Let's see what happens when it comes back to us.
Okay, no action. But I do like the way our laws are written from a guy who's maybe had to trap in some locations as a very rookie trapper. All right, item number 14, general regulation workshop for motor restrictions or revisions related to fisheries and wildlife. What do you guys got for this?
This is our pond, the Battleborn Pond.
What'd you say, sorry?
This
Yeah,
is
for
our
the-
pond, the Battleborn
The
Pond.
Battleborn Pond.
And the catch and kill regulation for pike
Yeah.
and bait restrictions. And
Yeah,
what?
the ice hole in Ely.
Oh,
Ooh.
you gotta pull the cake. Can't float the cake. Dump the cake.
Sam really wants to talk. So.
Come on, Sam,
Yeah,
get up here.
Tell us.
Come on.
Came all this way, might as well.
I know, right? This is Sam Cedillo, fisheries biologist for the record. So the proposed change, which would basically be restricting vessels allowed on Battleborn Pond, which is Alpha Vista, to only allow for non-motorized and electric motor vessels. That's basically, it's within a community. We purchased this pond, it's Goodwill, and it's small enough that you can very well travel along it without having to, put a motorized boat along there or a gas-powered boat along there. The other ones with Comins Lake is, we've been doing a lot of suppression efforts on that for pike. Basically, people have to keep and kill pike if they catch them, and it's a really popular sport fishery, and if we allowed for pike to proliferate, then rainbow trout and other sport fish within there would most likely take a nosedive. So that's one too that if you had any follow-up questions, I'd be happy to
So
refer.
if you release a pike, they'll actually give you a ticket?
I'm not exactly sure. I'm sure they could with this regulation change, or some kind of action, but I can follow up exactly with the penalty if you're interested. And also too, it discourages, potential movement of pike from there to other places, which if pike were released in other bodies of water, then it could very well crash those systems as well, or create a lot more effort on our end to suppress them.
Where would they go from Cummins?
Anybody with a bucket could transport them
Fair enough.
wherever else in Nevada. So
I
that's,
mean, when I was a kid, it was Bassett Lake to Cummins, right? Like, that's for the pike.
Mhm.
But, yeah, I didn't think about,
Yeah.
how they got into Bassett.
Yeah.
Was there a major problem with this Battleborn Pond that people have put motorized boats? Or?
Well, there's currently no regulation prohibiting it. So I think, and I'd have to go back and check, but I think when it was purchased, there was some anxiety by the communities about the noise and potential impacts, to their experience around there because we're opening it up to the public. So, it's such a small pond too that if we had a bunch of, gas power boats going around there, it could provide safety concerns as well. So,
Yeah. And the bait restriction, or changing the eastern region bait restrictions to kind of fall in line with, the rest of the state, allows for it to be easier for people to not be confused when they're going between regions, and being compliant about, purchasing bait or questions about bait and everything like that.
And what's the deal with the ice fishing deal?
The ice fishing, it just allows for, people that are spearfishing or bow fishing for pike to cut I think it's 1 foot by 2 foot hole into the ice to allow for it to be easier to do that. Currently they're only allowed to do the, forget the exact size, the 10-inch hole to ice fish out of Comans. Basically it just allows for more potential for people to actually suppress pike.
People
through
are
the
actually
ice.
cutting a hole and using a bow to shoot pike.
I don't know if anybody's doing that right now.
When I read that, I'm like, I
But
didn't know that was one of my options. But that seems
it
pretty
would be
cool.
extremely difficult if they were trying to do that. So this allows for there to be more opportunity for people to, utilize other techniques outside of hook and line to take pike out of
Well, I know
Comans.
this is a big deal, like in Minnesota and like the
Mhm.
Great Lakes states. This is a big deal. The spearing pike, and
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
they have to pull it out.
Yeah.
They have to and then they got to put it back. Is that the deal?
No, I would assume in those places they can keep those fish too.
No. But they got to put the ice back.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah, it
that's
says
part of
that
the thing.
in here.
So
Yeah.
with the regulation, they have to put the ice block back, and they have to mark where that hole is with either vegetation or some colored marker
Something.
that's 3 foot high or something.
Snowmobile use, so it's a lot bigger hazard there.
Yeah.
I don't think too many people are ripping around in Cummins on a snowmobile.
Yeah.
Not these days.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Any other questions? It's the most I've ever talked to this meeting, so.
There's a lot of fishery stuff in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to say my comments are far surpassing John's.
Real lucky you got a damn question.
You guys got anything?
I think it's awesome
Yeah.
that we're allowing people to spear pike.
Oh, yeah.
And
I
bow
think-
fish pike through the ice.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's so sweet.
And I
I
think
know
the
we're
bait
doing it
thing
in
is
December.
good
Yeah,
too.
yeah, we're going.
February.
I think the bait language, reading it was a good
Yeah.
thing to
Yeah.
add in there to make it the same across all areas. I thought that was
Yeah,
positive.
and I've got zero heartburn with the motorized boats on.
I don't even know how popular, that's why I asked, has there been like something happened there?
All right, any public comment on item number 14?
You have public comment?
There's only one
Nope.
public.
Well, she's public.
On what?
The
Fishing.
fish.
No, just keep planting them. Keep that fun.
All right, back to the cab.
Member Malarkey moves to accept Commission General Regulation 528 as written.
Member Robinson will second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
All in favor, or
All opposed.
all opposed, say nay. Motion passes 4-0. All right, item number 15, Commission Regulation, item 515, demerit points associated with trail cameras and thermal imaging devices.
So what did you guys pass, what did you recommend last time, for 12 demerits for a camera?
So
No,
we reduced, we left 12 on thermal. We reduced trail cameras.
12 on
12
transmitting
on
cameras.
transmitting cameras and 9 on non-transmitting cameras. So we reduced the 1 down to 9, but they kept it at 12. Then they added in or similar device into those two deals.
I'm
If
scared.
The camera shouldn't be 12, that's
I agree.
ridiculous.
The transmitting one should be.
Yeah, we're not supposed to be using those, so that's fine, but if you guys have 20 cameras out and pick up 19, thought I had them, and you shouldn't lose your rights for, if you do it twice, then yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Which is what our argument was the last time, was exactly that, right? Like, if you mess up once, then you shouldn't get hung.
Yeah.
you know, so again, I go to personal responsibility with that one. Like if you're setting 20 cameras, you better goddamn sure get 20 cameras out of there. Unless you're like me and they get stolen, then you only have to get like half of them.
And,
We gotta hike up.
and since I was,
You gotta hike up there just to be like,
and since I wasn't here last time, it's going forward that you can't use thermal? Is that right?
During big game seasons.
yeah, that's how it's written.
In certain units, was the
In-
last discussion.
Yeah, it should be just on the eastern side of the state.
I don't see how these
Is that
two-
true or not? Because that's not what that says right here. What, can you
Yeah, I
can
don't
you
think it
clarify
does
that
say
one,
in
Wes? Is it
certain
statewide?
It is statewide during big game seasons.
Yeah, I don't think
Okay.
You
it's
can't be
certain.
on a
Okay.
big
I
game
thought-
hunt, possess thermals, and go shoot dogs.
Right, okay.
But that was already the law.
Exactly. There's no change. The only change is the
Demerits.
Demerit.
demerits and the wording.
So they're not saying that you can't have a thermal, you can't go coyote hunting?
No, that's
That got stopped?
that's off. Right.
Oh, thank God, that's just idiotic.
Which-
I'm not gonna say it's not coming back next month, but it's not on this docket.
Okay.
It's not.
That you can't what?
The seasons and the
Oh, yeah.
and the dog stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're looking at protecting wildlife, using a thermal is more, which I'm not saying it's damaging, but a trail camera is not killing animals. So I don't agree with the demerits.
Especially when I use it.
I'm sorry, I think it's wrong.
I wish they just would have outlawed all the trail cameras in the first whack, and then we wouldn't have to be here right now, personally. But
Agree.
I think that trail cameras, again, we go back to what Mel's comments earlier. In my opinion, trail cameras provide personal responsibility. If you have the means and the wherewithal to go set them, you should have the means and wherewithal to go pick them up. And anything outside of that, in my opinion, is an attempt at clear cheating. And so I know that there's arguments both ways, but in my opinion, I don't think you should have 12 demerits on a non-transmitting camera. I just don't. I think the transmitting camera is all in. I don't think that you should punish people who maybe make a mistake right off the bat. I just don't think that. But I think that 9 demerits does do enough damage that it at least puts it in people's heads. I mean, there's a law in the books for, it's there. Like it or hate it, that's irrelevant. Now you gotta enforce it somehow. And you have to at least provide, I think, law enforcement with an opportunity. Because right now they're outnumbered anyways, but those are my opinions. I think we go back to exactly what we did last time and resend it to the commission.
Is to do what? Didn't catch that.
9.
To give the same recommendation to the commission that we gave last time, which was 12, 12, and 9. That's just
What do you got?
my 2 bits.
Why am I?
What do you think?
I told you I don't think that you should give 12 demerits for a trail camera because it's not, a trail camera is not hurting wildlife. We would have better surveys if we didn't have this trail camera law, but that's going into something else, so.
All right, let's take it out to public comment. Any public comment?
Yeah, I'm gonna take another run at it. Damn right. Well building, public, Washoe County. I like what you're saying. You get popped, it's gonna be substantial at 9. So you get a second chance. It's the same as if you left it at 3. You get the same violation twice in 5 years. It don't matter the points. You're done. But a trail camera, this is a great tool when it's used for different things. And August is just too early. I mean, I built a lot of guzzlers, and we wouldn't have known 1/10 the reason why we did things if we didn't have trail cameras. And that's the truth. I mean, pushing down bars to see how quick we could get an animal out. I'm worried about egress, not access. Do we really need to be at 28 inches tall? Can we push it to 26? Can we push it to 22? I mean, there's so many things that these trail cameras tell you. But when you're limited, and even in July, if it never seen one, but using one that transmits it to you. But there are good things about trail cameras. But to just hammer a guy for 9 points for a trail camera violation, to me, it's just excessive. It's really excessive. It's 3 now, double it to 6. But it doesn't matter on your philosophy. If it's at 3, he does it twice. Within 5 years, he's done anyway. So, I mean, to me, let's get back in the game of putting critters on the mountain. We spend so much time about this frivolous BS. Let's start doing something. I mean, it's insane.
Any other public comment? No.
Mom, you want to speak?
Hey Wes, I got a question. So you were talking about the hunter safety reduction. So if you get 3 points, can you do hunter safety then?
No, you have to have 9. No, you don't need to look it up. You have to have 9.
Yeah. I have the full IRS I can read to you afterwards.
So-
yeah, it has to start with 9. It can't be. You have to be on the warning track as far as demerits go.
So if you get one at 3, your next one is doubled, right? So that would be 6 points.
Yep.
So that would only
Closer to 3.
put you at 9, and then you could take hunter safety and go back to 5, and then you could get another one, and you'd be at 8.
No,
No. If you commit it twice, you're done.
no.
Within 5 years.
Not if
Twice for the same.
The same violation.
Yes, that's
Trail
what he's saying.
camera, you're done.
Yeah, if you have 2 in the same fight, you can't take hunter safety to reduce that because you got caught with the same charge. That's listed in the IRS too.
okay.
Or the NAC. It's if you commit something else of the same demerit points, then you're good across the board. You can take hunter safety to reduce.
Okay,
it. But
so-
within that 5 years, if you get caught trail camera anything, you're done. For
You're-
a minimum of 3 years.
Okay.
Or for up to 3 years.
Okay. That was the clarification I needed there.
Sorry.
So, in my way of thinking, and to hear Mel's argument, is that with this regulation, it doesn't really matter the points based on the second offense,
No, because your first offense, you can be revoked.
right? So, I guess my thing is then, you're right, it probably doesn't matter, but is there more, does it carry more weight if you take it to 9? Because obviously if you have a violation at 3 and you get a second violation, you're done anyways, agreed. We just learned that, right? But is there a deterrent at 9 that doesn't exist at 3? I guess is my
So if
question.
you have
That's
a
a
3 over
that's a
here
philosophical
for-
question. You can't answer that, but you know.
Yeah, if you had a 3 demerit point violation over here for something other than trail cameras, and then you get a 9 over here for a trail camera, is that
Yeah, they compound.
Yeah,
They
you're
can
done.
have-
Within
Right.
5, yeah.
But
But
I
if
just
this
wanna
was-
say something to what you're saying, I think it's an important point. I get 9 points on my trail cam, okay? Now I go down, I retake hunter safety, I reduce it by 4, I'm at 5, okay? Now, if I do a trail cam violation again, I'm done. I do it
Regardless.
within 5. But I could get a 6-point demerit and still be safe. So, that 9 points is it's where you break it, because you can get rid of 4 of those if you retake hunter safety. The only way you're gonna get nailed is if you violate the same violation within 5 years twice. But you can take that 9 and reduce it to 5 just by taking hunter safety.
Right.
So now you're good for another 6, for another 7 points, but we don't have that. So,
sounds like to me we need to get rid of the reduction of the hunter safety.
You can't retake it at 6. You can't retake, you can't reduce 6, you can only reduce 9.
Right, understood.
But there are stipulations on when you can retake it to reduce demerit points. You can't just take it for anything and everything. There are certain ones that are exempt from that. But like I said, I can give you that rank afterwards.
Might be smarter to recommend 6 then.
That's, no. I mean, most people are good, and most people, if they got a demerit, would be just distraught. We're looking at like a handful of bad people that continue to do bad things, and we're punishing good people for the bad people. So I don't think 12
Where I
is right.
personally have a problem with the 12 is a friend of mine, the last year before, got pinched for this, because they had 3 guys out picking up cameras in the area that overlap. I thought you were getting this one. No, I thought you were getting this one. You got a ticket for trail cam up.
Yeah,
Like
but
to
everybody's marking these with Onyx, right? Like, you can't tell me you don't know, oh shit.
No, they didn't. It was an honest deal. They're pulling them, and they just, I thought you were getting that one. No, I thought you were getting that one, and they didn't get it. But are there a lot of people that are getting hit time after time for trail cams? Is
Time
this a
after
big-
time, no. First timers, yes. But I'm sure that there is. We get a lot of trail cams where there's not a lot. Some cases of our trail cams, we have no distinguishable evidence when we've come across it. So we can't pinpoint it to anybody. We'll let it soak for a while with our surveillance on it, but sometimes we get people coming to check it and sometimes we don't. So we get honest with people that forgot it and just leave it. But it just depends. Repeat offenders it's happened recently, but it's
Well,
it's not
and-
a big enough problem to spend a ton of time talking about, right?
And you know,
Like everything else we're talking
I
about.
right, 100%. I actually, you know, if you look at the shed hunting deal this year, there was a couple of guys, correct me if I'm wrong, I think there's 2 guys that got popped twice on the shed hunting deal, right? And they're like, their philosophy was, it doesn't matter what the fine is, I make more money on the sheds than I do on the fine, right? So they don't give a shit. So the fines don't work, right? They're not working in the shed hunting deal. Really, the only thing you have are demerit points on people's licenses that seem that make a difference. I'm fine on 6. I'm fine on 9. I'm not willing to budge on the other ones. On non-transmittal, I can move either way. I don't really care. I think that there is some language there, but I think the trail cams, if I agree with you that we're legislating for the bad guys. However, every law on the books is on the books because bad guys are doing it. Like, it's not because one good guy accidentally messed up. They don't make laws for that. So, you know, in my opinion, I don't care where we go here. I'm not going less than 6, but, you know, I don't think 9 is unreasonable, to be fair. Again, personal responsibility. I hate this idea that you're like, okay, so you have one accident. I agree with that. But I would say that by and large, I would venture to guess that by and large the violations that are happening are intentional. And it doesn't really, I mean, the western part of the state you don't hear about as much, but the eastern part of the state, it's a nightmare.
That's chaos over there.
Well, I think that will go back to the guides and the sub-guides too. This will affect that.
Yeah, thank God.
Well, I mean, obviously, they didn't listen to what we said last time, right? So if we even lowered the 9 to the 6, they're still not gonna.
I would really recommend that, because 12 is ridiculous. It has to be lowered.
I agree.
100%.
I'm on board for the first time offender 9, whatever, 6, be it whatever. But they didn't take our recommendation for 9 originally. If we lower it to 6, they're not going to definitely look at it. Like, why don't we go for the same thing we went for last time, which was 9, 12, and 12.
I think it's good to take a stance on lower. Yes, I agree.
As long as it's not 12.
No, like I
I
said,
didn't-
Steve, if you think you'd rather see 6, like I said, I can get by with 12, 12, and 6. I'm not budging on the other 2 12s. But I can move on the 6 or the 9. I don't think we should leave it at 3. I think you should try to provide at least some type of deterrent to this deal.
When you look at the demerit lists,
Oh,
it seems a little ridiculous to be more than 6.
yeah, some of the
Hunting or
things.
taking a threatened species is 9.
Yeah. So I don't think trail cameras should be 9. It's just not.
Yeah, we
seems
went
a
through
little out of
that.
whack.
We went
if
through
we
that
went
whole
through
thing
that.
last time. Agree that there's equal and or less demerit points for worse things, but I think that's future conversations.
I personally would like to see 6. Just because it seems to be more in line with
That's the same as
6.
poaching.
hunting mammals during closed season is 6. A trail cam is not that bad.
You're not killing an animal, I agree.
Right. But I think we are looking at it more of as a deterrent, I guess. I'm good with 6. If you want to go with 6, let it rip at 6. You can't move the other ones over.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other one's fine. And the 12 for the thermal only because they didn't make it so you can't have the thermal use it at all for, if you're caught doing it for big game hunting, yeah.
Yeah.
You lose your rights. I'm 100% fine with that. But if they were gonna do it for, if they didn't change what they were doing, I'd be totally against it.
Same.
Some guys out there trying to shoot a coyote, legitimately not big game hunting, I would be really against it.
You and I, we're gonna have to have a conversation. I'm against thermals all the way around and get rid of them sons of bitches tomorrow. The cheating is so bad.
But he may not know who it is. You guys know who's cheating over there, the guides.
He knows who it
You know
is.
what it is.
So, I mean, catch them and punish them. Why not? Don't screw with me that I wanna go kill some
Coyotes.
predators at night. It's idiotic. They
Well-
know who's doing it. There's a handful of guys. It's not rampant. There's a handful of guys doing it, and they know mostly who it is. So we should catch them.
Yeah.
And if they can't catch them now, they're not gonna catch them with more demerits or whatever.
Well, they took it out of there, so we don't have to
So,
have the
yeah.
conversation.
So the 12-12, I would be more comfortable with 12-12 and 6, because it seems to be more in line with everything else.
All right, well,
Make a
I
motion.
think you got a fair argument. Make your motion.
So Member Robinson will recommend to the commission to adopt commission regulation 515, demerit points associated with trail cameras and thermal imaging devices, as proposed with the change of from 12 demerits to 6 demerits for non-transmitting trail camera. Do you have that, Secretary?
We're looking for a second. It's your turn. Your name hasn't been on the list yet.
What do Christy Marchese, I second that? That's what it says?
Nice job.
All in favor, say aye.
All right?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-1 with member Rowe absent.
4-0.
4-0. All right. Item number 15B, bonus points for junior application.
I forgot that I printed this on both sides of the page. Oh, no, I didn't.
I don't have anything on this.
I don't have anything on this.
No.
I thought it was fun.
I think it's fine too.
Any public comment?
Been discussed too long.
Yep. All right.
So
Back
Member
to the
Robinson,
count.
I will move to recommend to the commission, they adopt commission regulation 524, bonus points associated with junior hunt applications as proposed.
Member Malarkey will second.
All in favor, say aye.
All right?
Motion passes 4-0 with member Rowe absent.
I wrote 4-0 down before we voted.
Last page.
You get to shine twice, huh?
Yeah, let's
All
go,
right.
Sam.
Item number 16, fishing seasons regulations. Kip,
I
You
think
got
he wants
anything?
to
I
present.
don't really have anything on that either.
Sam, do you want to come up and talk again?
You want me to? I do like listening to myself talk. He does.
Can you? It seems like there's this like big. Yes, I actually would like you to come up. So it seems like there's this. The predominant change is this addition of subspecies and gender as applicable. It's like throughout the deal. Is there an overlying arc that you can kind of tie that to?
Can you repeat the question one more time? Sorry, I didn't catch all of that.
So throughout this regulation, the
Mhm.
changes tend to be subspecies and gender as applicable. So it's taking species or categories of species. It's taking species out, leaving categories of species, subspecies, and gender as applicable.
You're looking at the
Oh.
junior tag.
Am I?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
It's like, I was really confused.
Never mind. Hold on.
Fish gender.
Wait, whoa. Get up here.
I've never gendered a trout before.
Yeah.
It's like, I can tell you how to gender a trout
I
if
thought
you
you guys.
want.
I thought you guys were getting real woke.
I'm like, what are you talking about?
I was like, did I miss something?
So okay. Sorry about that. Let me get back to here. Can you tell me about the fish gender again? So they're limiting a number of like these. They're removing a number of the size requirements.
Uh-huh. Yeah, for like Lake Mead.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well-
so sorry, let me pull up my notes here. With that one, the reasoning behind it is that anglers rarely harvest more than 20 striped bass, and there was previously that restriction with the size. So it basically, like, there's no change seen with the past regulation and no effect on the striped bass population. So in order to basically make it more accessible and encourage take, then they'll let that change. They change that regulation because of that. So, and I can follow up too with the biologist, but there's the
No. I don't think you have to. I mean, it's just interesting that we ever see a change in the fish regulations. I think I've been on here for 3-4 years now, and this is like the first time there's
we
been
did
any red.
we did the Hobart one a couple years ago. That was a change, and then moved Battleborn into the general urban regulation that we have for around here. But basically, any change that we enact is to either make it simpler or to protect a certain fishery, or encourage for people to continue to use it through whether it's opening up or providing experience like catch and release, or protecting the regulation on the Truckee River below Mustang was to prevent people from taking those lake run cutthroat when they come up, or prevent them from taking too many of them if they chose that. So
It's just, I find it so interesting. We spend so much time on hunting regulations, and hardly, like, fishing regulations are always just like shoot right through.
Have fun.
yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty insane.
Yeah. So,
All right,
yeah, appreciate it.
that's what I got. I got nothing else.
You got anything?
No, I think.
Gendering.
All right, any public comment on fishing regulations?
Gender. Why are we gendering?
All right, no public comment, back to the cab.
No.
Nope.
Member Robinson will recommend to the commission they adopt Commission Regulation 25-16, fishing seasons and regulations for January 1, 26 through December 31, 27, as proposed.
Member Brown will second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
All opposed saying no.
All opposed say nay. Motion passes 4-0 with member Rowe absent.
Skip the next one.
Yep, item number 17. No action, anybody?
Nope, there's nothing to do there. Everything's, you just go 19.
Okay. All right, future meetings. Any topics for future meetings?
Off the top of my head right now.
I don't have any. Kobe's always got something cooking.
Yeah, he does. All right, I don't have anything. Item number 19, public comment. Is there any public comment? All right, meeting is adjourned at 7:35.